What's going on, champs and champettes? It's FireMonkey here, and in today's YouTube video, we're going to be talking about Fortnite OG and Fortnite Battle Royale storyline potentially colliding. This is a little bit of an interesting bit of news, something that we don't really have all of the details on. We don't know how Epic Games is going to change things around, but it is something that is appearing more and more likely as we get more information. So as you guys know, Fortnite OG is going to be having its rocket event very soon, and this time around it's going to actually have a safe zone where people won't be able to eliminate you if you're just trying to watch the rocket blast off into the sky, which is a pretty good thing to see. However, if you remember anything about the original rocket event back in Fortnite, when it wasn't OG, but it was just normal Fortnite, then you may know that back then, all of the rifts, and currently in Battle Royale basically, with the exception of like Blitz Royale, all of the rifts are blue. They have a blue entire design to them, but this time around it's going to be turning into red. So instead of having a blue rift in the sky, instead of having a little like motel sign and everything else being rifted in with blue rifts, it's going to be red rifts the full way around, and it appears to be a somewhat corrupted version of the current Fortnite OG storyline. But something else someone noticed was in the actual official key arts right here, so actually this image we're going to right now, you can see some interesting stuff going on. So we have all the different locations, we have whoever that is right there. We have ourselves a lot of different stuff going on, but we see this image right here where you can see a Fortnite spire just kind of floating around a random town. Now, without paying too much attention, you might not realize what that area or that POI is, but if I go ahead and pull up an image real quickly, you would then be able to see, by the way, this image is by Waffly Bonbon over on Twitter, that it appears this image is in Fortnite OG over there at the actual Tilted Towers place in the OG map. You can see stuff like the car hood linking up, stuff like the little street light over on the right side, the top little corner of that building, a lot of stuff going down there, which makes me think that, hey, those red rifts aren't just meaning that there's going to be something going on Battle Royale or whatever else. It doesn't mean that they're doing something quirky to slightly change up Fortnite OG. It might mean that we're actually going to be merging storylines. So Battle Royale in its current era and Fortnite OG all the way back in Chapter 1 are set to combine together to fuse to make some intertwined crazy storyline, and maybe that's what we end up getting with the red rift spawning in different things around the map. As you can see right here, as we place stuff down, we get a little bit more pieces of the puzzle. We get stuff like the Spire sketchbook or whatever else. We get stuff over here like one of the organizations. I think that's Shadow. I kind of forgot. There's been so many things in Fortnite, but of course we have stuff like that Fortnite OG Spire being linked over here to the sprites, and then over here to like the Daigo's domain or whatever that place is called, Shogun Solitude or one of those places. Actually, no, Demon's Domain, that's what I meant, yeah. But it is interesting to see all this stuff going down, and them kind of teasing stuff happening, and showing the Spire even existing in Tilted Towers in the Fortnite OG timeline, because normally, if they were going to go ahead and tease something in Battle Royale that was for the Battle Royale storyline, you would think they would do it on the Battle Royale map, and not intentionally put it over there in a completely different game mode, a completely different map, when they have full access to customizing the maps however they want to. Now, as far as I'm aware from what I've heard in the past, it appears that when it comes to Fortnite OG and when it comes to how Fortnite OG is going to evolve over time, they still plan to do chapters. So after we go to Fortnite OG Chapter 1 Season X, they'll still be going to Chapter 2 Season 1, and so on and so forth. So if you're someone who was wondering if they would just rotate between the first chapter over and over again, it appears, at least from what I have heard in the past, that we are still going to be having chapters, so there would probably be a point in the future where we're in like Chapter 10, meanwhile Fortnite OG is in Chapter 4 or 5. It's something that could be a possibility, and they could continue to keep that rotating around or whatever they're actually trying to do. But it makes me wonder if they're going to continue having the chapter system, but they're going to be rewriting the storyline to make it have a little bit of a plot twist. What does that mean for how it's going to continue evolving over time? If we do get Spires in Fortnite OG, how is that going to change the original storyline? Are we going to go to a point where we have like the Skyfire event or whatever else where we're in the UFO mothership again, but instead of, having Sloan commanding us, we have some other person, maybe like Hope or someone, and we have to actually save ourselves from the Spires or something? Who knows what's going on? Who knows? But it does appear like they've been trying to keep a concise storyline this time around, at least with Battle Royale. Daigo having having a presence over and over and over again, and all the stuff from the previous seasons kind of latching on to what's been going on currently in the storyline. So it would be interesting to see, with how fluid their storytelling has gotten recently with Fortnite, how they would actually go ahead and infect Fortnite OG with that fluidity as well. You know, obviously they're taking their own liberal changes here and there in order to make it a little bit better, you know, stuff like changing the rifts from blue to red, so that while it is still, you know, the original event, it has their own flair. You know, it's still unique for people who've already seen it before, so they might want to go see it again, and all this other type of stuff. Now, once again, thanks Waffly Bonbon for that image I mentioned over on Twitter. In terms of other stuff we could mention, it appears that there is a whole entire theory being backed up by Hope's room, or graffiti in the actual room that Hope lives in the game, because there's stuff like a rift in the sky and stuff like that in Hope's room. And then below the rift on the actual ground is a demon spire. So maybe Hope is this version's, you know, Jonesy. Remember the Jonesy skin that had like the long beard or whatever when we had to collect fort bites in Chapter 1, Season 9? Maybe this Hope skin is like that Jonesy skin, where their graffiti, their art, is visions of the future. They know what's going to happen before even we as the players know it's going to go down, and it's their own little writings warning us of what could be happening in the very near future of the game. So, you know, it would be interesting to see if they go ahead and put spires in Fortnite OG. Would some people think that that isn't really Fortnite OG anymore? Maybe, but it really just is a waiting game, right? You know, trying to figure out how everything collides together and how this affects the game going forwards. I mean, we can go ahead and quickly see, are we near Hope's room? Oh my god, these menus suck. Hold on. No, Hope's all the way up there. Oh wait, where is Hope? Oh, all the way down there. Yeah, okay, we can't go to Hope's room this match, but it is still interesting to kind of see all this stuff going down, and I'm a little intrigued to see what they do to Fortnite OG going forward. So until next time, hope you champs and champions enjoy today's YouTube video. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another upload. So until then, peace out.